Thank you. Please rise, pardon me, welcome to the Rye Town Council meeting of March 20th, 2018. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
roll call, Hope, please.
Councilperson Lindsay Jackson.
Here.
Councilperson Thomas Nardi.
Here.
Councilperson Jill Axelrod.
Here.
Councilperson Anthony Baxter.
Here.
And Supervisor Gary Zuckerman.
Here. We have adoption of our minutes of February 22nd, 2018. If there are no additions or corrections, may I have a motion and a second?
I make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
None opposed. We have a presentation tonight from Joseph Yang. I'm his Eagle Scout present. Mr. Yang, would you like to step to the podium and tell us what this is about?
Good evening. As you all know, I'm Joseph Yang, and I'm a Boy Scout from Troop 2 Mamaroneck. I'm here to request approval for my Eagle Scout project, which is to restore the sunken gardens in Crawford Park. I chose Crawford Park because every year my troop does their annual barbecue there, where they hand out rewards and promotions. And my father held his 50th anniversary there. Well, yeah, 50 for his birthday.
It's an anniversary. It's okay. It is an anniversary.
Yeah. And my mom is friends with a member of the Friends of Crawford Park. Next slide. So when I was going around looking for ideas for my Eagle Scout project, I noticed the sunken gardens, which is kind of off to the side, and it's not really noticed. Few people go there. So I wanted to kind of make it a place where people could gather to like just relax and sit down. Next slide. My plan basically has 3 parts to it. I plan to power wash the benches and fix the nameplate. Like there is a nameplate on the bench and it's broken. I'll paint the trim black and varnish the benches. I want to clean up the landscaping and plant new plants, and that will be provided by the Friends of Crawford Park. And I will restore the rock wall that is broken. Next slide. Here are some pictures of the benches. There's, on the picture to the right, there's mold, as you can see, and the nameplate is broken on the picture to the left. Next slide. Here's some of the landscaping and some of the plants. Yeah. There's like a lot of weeds all over the place, so I plan to also remove the weeds. Next slide. And then more of the landscaping. Next slide. And here's parts of the rock wall that are broken. The slide on the left is where like the rock wall kind of ends, or at least one of the ends of the rock wall, and you can see it's kind of like in ruins. Next slide. Some parts of the rock wall are fine, like the picture on the left, but as you can see on the picture on the right, it's pretty broken. Next. Here are some of the supplies that I will acquire. Most of the supplies I already have at home, so there's not too much that needs to be gathered. Next slide. Here are the materials. Also the plants that will be, the plants that I'll need will be determined by the Friends of Crawford Park. Next slide. Here are the tools, which there isn't too much, and I mostly have all the twos that I need. Next slide. Here are the estimates of the cost, and I'll ask for donations from the Friends of Crawford Park. And yeah. Next. Conclusion. I would like to start in April if I get town approval and my scout approval from my scout leader. Thank you for your time. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Joseph.
Ask them.
Very good presentation. And I see Laura smiling. Laura, I assume this is with your approval? Laura Klein, president of the Friends of Crawford Park. I think it's one. Questions from the council?
Fantastic. Great job. Good luck.
Well, I commend you. I know how difficult it is to reach the stage just to get to be an Eagle Scout, right? 21 different merit badges. I'm sure you worked very hard, and we're lucky to have you to help us beautify the park.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say, I've heard your name, Dr. Yang, Mrs. Yang's name for many years, from your involvement with the Boy Scouts, starting with your older brother. You're from a wonderful family who's been very involved in a great organization, so I thank all of you for that and you for carrying on the tradition. And I'm particularly excited because a lot of Village of Mamaroneck residents who live in the town of Rye are not as familiar with Crawford Park. It's a great park, it's a beautiful place, and you know, you're kind of bringing awareness to the community about what resources we have. So thank you very much for picking Crawford Park.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Best of luck to you in your future endeavors.
Good luck. And
Yep.
we have a resolution. The main reason for the resolution is we have to deem Joseph as a volunteer so that he's insured under our town insurance policy. So may I have a motion and a second?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good, none opposed. Thank you, Joseph, and good luck. We're looking forward to seeing this sometime in the summertime, to all the beautification that you're going to be doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope you can start in April and aren't hindered by the snow.
There'll be another snowstorm after this, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Thank you.
All right. We have another presentation, Laura. The Robert A. Morabito Memorial Garden.
Hi, thanks for letting me talk tonight. I'm Laura Klein from the Friends of Crawford Park. And yeah, I'd like to talk about starting a garden in memory of Bobby Morabito. So I'll just read this thing out. I have something prepared. The Friends of Crawford Park are collecting donations for a memorial garden for Robert Morabito, the former supervisor for the town of Rye. We carefully chose a location that is underutilized, close to the mansion, to be easily accessible, yet tucked back enough so that people can allow for quiet contemplation. The plans were designed pro bono, there they are, by Chris Cohen, and he's a landscape architect in Rye, and that include a bench surrounded by deer-resistant native hummingbird and butterfly attracting plants, fragrant bulbs, and flowering perennials. The public park improvement is in keeping with our overall master vision for the park. It will be a welcome addition for all the kids to enjoy, and adults, and birds, and butterflies. Mr. Morabito served as supervisor for the town for 14 years, and during those years, he continuously worked to improve and maintain Crawford Park. He oversaw the extensive planting of trees, ornamental shrubs, thousands of spring flowering bulbs, the installation of the walking trail, the Korean War monument, roadway lightings, a playground, and as well as various improvements to the mansion. Bobby loved the park. He often said, "What can we do to make the park a little better every day?" Therefore, it's only fitting that we dedicate a place in the park for his honor. And his wife, Kim Morabito, when she learned of this endeavor, said that he would be very honored to have his name associated with the project. So I hope that I get town approval to go ahead with the fundraising effort and make this happen. We probably would start, the fundraising and wouldn't really break ground into the fall, just because we want to make sure we have everything ready. Any questions?
Right. No, I think that, look, this is another step in the beautification of the park. You know, we're working, as most of you watching on TV and in the audience know, on all cylinders to make this park the jewel that it was when it was given to us, and even better.
Even better, exactly.
Even better. So I'm thrilled to go ahead with this new addition, along with the work that Joseph Yang will be doing. I think that it's just another step in the park improvement.
Great.
And
I mean,
it's certainly a fit memorial for the former supervisor.
Great.
Questions from the?
I just wanted to take a moment and thank Laura and Friends of Crawford Park for everything you guys have been doing. I mean, when I first started running, I first met you, I mean, your dedication to the park and all your efforts, it's amazing, and all the work you do on a daily basis. And I think this is a wonderful, like I said, way to honor the former supervisor, Mr. Morbido, who was very pro parks and,
yes.
you know, just a wonderful person. So,
Great. I'm glad you have I have your support. Sweet.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Along those lines, we have a discussion here. Crawford Park baseball diamond. Another improvement. The baseball diamond, which has been, let's say, I don't use the word falling apart, but is in great disuse. Oh, there's a picture. I didn't know we were having pictures today. Boy, the staff is really on top of it. Sarah, is this you?
Me and Tom.
Tom? Oh, man, this is great. At any rate, the ballpark has fallen on hard times, and we are very fortunate. We've been discussing for some time what to do with it and how to improve it. And it will be improved, reconstructed at no cost to the town in memory of a town resident. And at this point, the resident will remain anonymous, but substantial work will be done in changing the field, possibly new stands, certainly a new backstop to make it a first-class facility. And plans are being worked out and funds are being raised, and we're hoping that sometime by late spring or summer, the work will be complete and we'll have a nice ribbon cutting. So that's all I'm going to say at this point. Further improvements to the park coming. Comments from public on non-agenda items? Do any members of the public wish to speak on items that are not on the agenda? If not, we'll move on to the resolutions section. The first resolution is electronic security and video monitoring. Debbie, you want to give briefly what this is about?
Yes, from time to time, the town is in need of electrical services.
That's not the one. Electronic security, Rybrook Security.
Pardon me. The renovation of Crawford Park was the impetus to put out to bid the security system for the mansion that would include not only burglar alarm, but also expanding our video security for the mansion and for the grounds. So we received 3 proposals. After a bid analysis and subsequent round of questions, we've selected Rybrook Security as the lowest responsible bidder and the best value.
Thank you. Any questions, members of the
No,
council?
I think that this is important. Unfortunately, we have been forced to use our video system that we have now. We're doing such amazing improvements to the park that it's really nice to see, you know, it's protected.
Yeah, this will be both interior and exterior. We're going to have cameras mounted on poles to observe not only the mansion itself, but the grounds. We've had some incidents where cars have gone over the nice grass that we have, skid marks, et cetera. And we'll have a complete surveillance system, and especially, there'll be surveillance on the playground where our children go to play, so that we want to make sure that they are extremely secure. And it'll be an excellent system.
And Debbie, this price is for the equipment and for the monitoring,
That's correct.
and it's just for the 12 months?
Correct.
All right, motion and a second, please.
So moved.
I'll second.
Please call the roll.
Councilperson Jackson,
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi,
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod,
Yes.
Councilperson Baxter,
Yes.
and Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes. Now, the electrical contractor. Debbie?
Okay, so now, from time to time, the town is in need of an electrician who can handle larger wiring jobs. Also, we've been, with our commitment to sustainability, we've been looking for a path to changing over our park lamps into LED. We attempted a piggyback contract with our tree care contract with Central Tree, also with Rybrook, by the way, and it's been quite successful. So when it was time to find an electrical contractor who could handle larger jobs, they recommended that we consider the firm that they've been using, which is called Nix Electric. Nix Electric, I looked into them, I spoke with the chief executive. They've been providing services to the village of Scarsdale, I understand, for over a dozen years, and I believe the village of Greenberg as well. They've had a very successful business relationship there. Single owner operators, we certainly can still and will still use their business. However, when we have larger jobs that require multiple workers, we need to do these according to prevailing wage and with a certified payroll. So we need a provider who is set up to provide that level of documentation. So that I'm recommending that we pick up a contract with Nix Electric.
Any questions from the council?
Well, I just want to commend Councilperson Baxter and the Sustainability Committee that we have. They were really helpful in getting the whole LED light, and I know Deb did all the legwork. So thank you very much for all of your work.
Thank you. And I think it makes a lot of sense to piggyback on a company that's already established in Rybrook, and I think it's not necessarily shared service, but I think it's a sensible intermunicipal sharing of those services. So
Yeah.
I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, especially when another municipality has already gone through the
Correct.
bidding process and has picked the lowest qualified bidder, et cetera. And at our earlier Rye-Town Park Commission meeting, we also retained the same firm on the same basis to do work at Rye-Town Park. And as Debbie said, they do other communities, and Benny Salanitro, one of the park commissioners, and who's also the chief engineer in Scarsdale, said they've been very satisfied with this company for many years.
And I think it's important to note that when we were doing the purchasing policy and reviewing that at the end of last year, we discussed the amount of manpower and the hours it takes when municipalities such as Rye-Town go out to bid. And this really does save us money as well in that.
Very well put.
And
Yes.
it's nice to know that it's backed by the experience of Rybrook.
Thank you. Motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilperson Jackson,
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi,
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod,
Yes.
Councilperson Baxter,
Yes.
and Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes. The next one, I see the smile on my face. I'm really pleased to present this one. Many of you may have heard of the television series Blind Spot. They approached us, and they are going to be shooting at Crawford Mansion in the next couple of weeks, and they will also be paying us money. It may be as much as, depending on how many days they shoot, it'll in the $20,000 range. And we're very much looking forward to that. I haven't volunteered any of you to be extras yet, but, and a lot of the credit on this goes to Debbie, who actually negotiated an increase in the fee that was originally proposed, and to Tommy, who helped scout it out and was on scene with them. So we're really, really happy about this, and hopefully it'll work out really well, and other film companies will, and film and TV companies will come and see the site, and that'll be great. So the paperwork is in your packet, obviously. The fees are for a prep day, $3,000 a day, a filming day, $10,000 a day, a strike day, which means striking the set, $2,000 a day, and a whole day, when they do nothing, is $750 a day. So they expect
yeah.
So there's a
The strike
correction.
is 3,000.
It should be 3,000
It
for
was
both prep and strike days, and there'll be 2 of those.
Yeah.
Okay, change that, please. Yes,
I did.
that's in the agreement, it is not in the resolution. So,
My mistake.
As
all
modified.
right, change strike day to 3,000.
And I think we have an extra 0 in the,
Yeah, and the
whole day.
750.
I thought we really hit a bonanza there.
$750,000, yes.
We
Okay,
can all go home now.
okay. So the correct numbers are in the contract itself. The resolution has to be revised slightly. But they expect to film one day. I'm really hoping that something happens where they kind of get delayed and have to film a second day.
We
But,
can turn the sprinklers on so it rains.
right. And they're going to be doing it after the snowfall, but there might be another storm, so who knows? At any rate, may I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
I'll enthusiastically second it.
Please call the roll.
Councilperson Jackson,
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi,
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod,
Yes.
Councilperson Baxter,
Yes.
and Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes. Our next item is a resolution on a tax certiorari case, Imperial Owners Corp., and I guess as the town attorney, Jeff, you handle this. What is this about?
So
Denise, feel free to pop up and say anything you want.
this building is a 120 unit co-op. It's in the village of Portchester, and this is this kind of a case comes to us because a lot of buildings in and around Westchester have ETPA units, which are units governed by the Emergency Tenant Protection Act. And as a result of having several 1 or 2 or 3 units, the case law has developed that you have to look at these buildings and evaluate them as if they were all ETPA units, or mostly ETPA
Excuse me,
units.
Jeff, it's not a co-op, then it's a rental.
No, it has units, it has some ETPA units in it, which are
Okay.
rentals.
Okay.
And-
Those units are rentals.
Right.
Okay.
So the fact that there are some of these units in the building sets in motion a case basically for the building owner to try to reduce their assessment. And I don't really want to say too much more on that because it's litigation. But in effect, this case has been discussed with the school district and the village. They're aware of it. I've actually negotiated a longer payout term on the refund as to both the village and the school district. Normally, it's 60 days. I've extended it to 120 days to accommodate for the school district's budget. So I don't know if Denise, you have anything to add on that?
No, I concur.
Okay. Comments from the council? If not, may I have a motion and a second?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilperson Jackson,
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi,
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod,
Yes.
Councilperson Baxter,
Yes.
and Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes. Our next item is a resolution renewing the Sullivan Data contract. Debbie, you want to briefly tell us what this is about?
Yes, Sullivan Data has been providing computer IT support for the town of Rye ever since I came on board for many years. They work on an annual contract. It's time for renewal. I think there's a slight increase, but very slight increase this year. I think it's the first time in several years. And it's we were aware of this in advance, and it's in the budget.
Right. And this does not include, just so the board is aware, in addition to the maintenance contract, they are recommending computer upgrades that's not part of what we're doing tonight. We'll probably do that next month. Correct, Debbie?
Yes.
Okay. May I have a motion and a second?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilperson Jackson,
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi,
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod,
Yes.
Councilperson Baxter,
Yes.
and Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes. Our next two items are items that we do every year. The first is a resolution contributing to the Memorial Day ceremonies sponsored by the American Legion. And that's a $1,500 donation, and that is in our budget.
Yes.
If there's, does anybody want to discuss that?
I mean, I would just like to say that it's a wonderful event that the American Legion puts on, and I think that contributing to Memorial Day is the least we can do for our veterans, especially those who lost their lives in battle. So I think it's wonderful, and thank you to our American Legion and all of our veterans.
Thank you. Anybody else? If not, may I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilperson Jackson,
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi,
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod,
Yes.
Councilperson Baxter,
Yes.
and Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes. And the next one is a request for contribution to the Independence Day Committee, which again, we do every year. And again, it's $1,500. Would
Motion to
anybody-
approve?
Could I just ask a question? Is this the same amount that's given every year?
Yes.
Yes, it's in our budget.
Okay.
By the way, they do ask for increases, but we generally give them the same as we did last year.
Okay, I was
If you'd
here.
like to move to increase it,
No, I was curious how the amount, if that's the amount they requested and then we just comply, or how you figure the amount that you're gonna
yeah, we basically put the same amount in our budget that we gave last year. And by the way, this by no means covers the cost of these celebrations, especially Independence Day with the fireworks, it costs like $35,000 to $50,000, depending on what the fireworks display is.
So this is like a sparkler.
This is a few sparklers.
Yeah.
a few sparklers. We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Councilperson Jackson,
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi,
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod,
Yes.
Councilperson Baxter,
Yes.
and Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes. The next resolution is about our summer job training program and internship. We've done this for the last several years. Greg Arcaro is usually in charge. Basically, this proposes the same thing that we did last year. I don't know if anybody wants to discuss this. Jill, you're a newbie to this, but it worked out very well. Debbie, why don't you just state briefly how this works, so people watching at home can understand what this program is?
So this program was the brainchild of the team comprised of Greg Arcaro, David Thomas, and Alex Payan. It was started during the previous administration. And, pardon me, in response to actually a Tools for Change high school seminar that identified that high school students have a hard time finding employment because they don't understand the process and they don't have the opportunity. So this course, this program was designed to interview students, accept them into the program, give them a 1-week training program in how to write a resume, how to approach work and the responsibility of showing up on time, and how to present yourself at work, and interview skills. And at the end of the week, there is a raft of employers who have agreed to employ a high school intern for, I think, 4 to 6 weeks. I can't remember the length. And these employers are both from the nonprofit sector, from the private sector, and also from the public sector. And the town of Rye, the assessor's office participates, the tax receiver and clerk's office participates, supervisor's office participates. Last year, the village of Mamaroneck also agreed to participate. And Steve Otis's office, the state assemblyman, also participated. So everyone agrees.
Village of Portchester, too.
Village of Portchester takes a number of students, actually, several of them. And all of the employers come on the appointed day, and there is at the senior center, there's a speed dating situation set up where all the students and all the employers interview one another in rapid succession on a rotational basis, and then score who we think would be a good match for us, they for us as well. And the program will assign a student. The town of Rye will support this by paying every student who works for the town $10 an hour. And for students who do not work for the town, we provide $5 an hour in support, and the employer provides $5 an hour. And at the end, there's a graduation ceremony, and it has been wonderful. And the kids have learned a tremendous amount. We've gotten a tremendous amount of value out of having them around and working on projects that are just often just get forgotten because it's just the lowest, not the lowest. It's the least, the things that we just wish we had time to do and we don't have time to do, and these kids do that, and it's wonderfully valuable. We've had the same people back often year after year.
Thank you.
I have a question. How are the applicants chosen? They submit an application? Do they interview?
They do both.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Debbie, can you just talk to the discrepancy in it looks like it's budgeted for 15, but you anticipate spending 12?
Well, there are other things that we do with our student programs. So,
Oh, so this program is 12, and then that's the total budget for youth programs?
yes.
Understood. Great.
All right.
I just, I'm sorry, I keep adding time. This has been a great program. It's kind of a win-win situation for the employers because the reduced costs for the kids, obviously, teaching them important life skills and the importance of interviewing, writing a resume, etc. But I also wanted to thank the town, the mentors that oversee them, the villages of Mamaroneck and Portchester, and Assemblyman Otis's office, because I think it also promotes public service among our young students too, and that's another important lesson for them to learn.
Thank you. Motion and a second.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Call the roll, please.
Councilperson Jackson,
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi,
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod,
Yes.
Councilperson Baxter,
Yes.
and Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes. And that finishes our resolutions. We have reports. I don't know if we have any reports, but does the assessor wish to give a report or not? That's okay.
I don't have an actual report, anything to add, but I just want to wish everybody happy Easter and happy Passover and happy holidays.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Receiver.
Honorable Supervisor, members of the Town Council, Nicholas Mecca, Portchester, New York. I just sent out 100 or so delinquent tax notices for the village of Rye Brook. Their second installments are due. Even though the timing factor is very different on the due dates, all open taxes become a lien on July 31st. So you just have a little period of time. Please clean those up, because we have now come to the time that everyone waits for, the brand new 2018 first property tax bill of the year. It will be mailed out next week, so please watch the mails, and if you don't get the bill, call us, and within a week or so after that, it will be online. Okay, any questions? All right, I take this opportunity to wish everybody a very healthy, happy Easter and Passover season. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Town clerk, your report
I
is submitted. Do
submitted
you
my
have anything
report.
to eat?
I just
To-
want
to-
to remind
to
everyone.
add?
Yes.
Yeah, we know where Gary's mind is
To
headed.
add,
To add, just a reminder that the shredder will be at the parking lot on, from 10 to 1 at the 222 Grace Church Street parking lot on March 31st. I
That's
mentioned
on a
it last
Saturday.
month. It's a Saturday.
so everybody
Right.
can get to it.
And that's it.
Are we limited in how much can be brought?
Oh, this is what they do. I think you're allowed 2 cartons, 2 boxes, but then you could get back and drive around and do it again. It's just that they don't want to hold up the,
Right.
the,
But if there are not too
line.
many people, they will take more at
Yes,
that
they
time.
will.
Okay,
They will.
very
And
good.
people did that last year. They just got back in line,
All right,
and it
thank
worked
you.
out well.
We have the Superintendent of Highways report has been submitted. Debbie, do you have anything to add to that, or not?
To the Superintendent of Highways report.
Yeah, because from the bridge.
The bridge is on schedule. We're moving along. So, and actually, I know that John DiCrescenzo's been in touch with Dan Sarnoff who's the lead on the project. So I'm confident that John's report is up to date.
Right, it is. He mentions
Mm-hmm.
his conversation with Dan.
This is the Hillside Avenue Bridge.
Yes, the Hillside
Yes.
Avenue Bridge.
Your favorite bridge, Lindsay.
My favorite bridge, yep.
Comments from our council people? Anybody wish to comment?
Just wish everybody a happy Easter and Passover. Enjoy yourselves.
I just want to bring up to date our latest construction meeting about Crawford Park with the architect last week. Basically, we are now just about ready to go to bid on the major construction contracts. The abatement contract, demolition and abatement contract were previously issued, and the work will be starting as soon as the movie shoot is over. We wanted to make sure that we didn't interfere with the movie shoot. I should say television shoot. So that is ongoing, and we expect that at our May meeting, we will approve the general construction contract. And that will get the ball rolling. The general construction contract includes the elevator, the bathroom except for the actual plumbing, and the doors, the windows, all the major work. So that will be underway, hopefully by later this spring. So, and again, I wish everybody a happy Easter and Passover. And with that, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Next meeting is April 17th
Just
in
like you
Rybrook.
said, yes, in Rybrook.